Hey guys, what's going on, and welcome back to the second tactic of this week. And today we're going to be going over Kieran Mckenna's 4-2-3-1. Obviously the current manager of Ipswich Town doing absolute bits in that league. So let's go and see how we can replicate that inside of Football Manager 2022. So this is going to be how he lines up, and we can actually talk about obviously why we chose the 4-2-3-1, and that is going to be because in scenarios, 46% of the time, he does play with the 4-2-3-1. We can see 15% of the time, it's a 4-4-2. Then it goes down and down and down. Obviously, sometimes adapting to a 3 at the back style, which, funnily enough, is when he's actually defending a game, which is very unique to see. Obviously, very little use of the 4-3-3. Now, if you guys do enjoy this manager a lot, I am more than happy to make the 4-4-2 version of this because he does play that the second most. Obviously, I'm not going to make one for all of them, but traditionally, most commonly, he will start with a 4-2-3-1. So that is why we have gone with that variant for this video. Now, pretty much like most teams in football nowadays, Mckenna is obsessed with playing out from the back. He demands it from Ipswich, obviously a team which probably haven't got the most technically gifted players at the back, but they have done quite well this season, I must be honest. So what will happen here is you have, obviously, the goalkeeper in this scenario. One of the centre-backs will be told to sort of go wider on the side that they plan to play out from, as you can see here. And then he can play to the right centre-back. You're going to have one of the midfield players sort of coming back to pick up the ball, which then they can build up the pitch. But either side that they can do this is going to be the exact same outcome. It's very easy to do. The centre-backs are quite close to the goalkeeper, and the side that is going down will be a little bit wider, so then that they're closer to the fullback, so that the pass is very easy and they can get the ball out of their feet quite quickly. And then what will happen here is if this centre-back was to play to this player here, which he will do in this scenario, the DM can pretty much come to about this area here, pick up the ball, have just enough time to turn, and then probably this player here can get into this scenario here and pick up the ball. Vice versa with the other side as well. Obviously, what we're seeing in this scenario is if the goalkeeper decided to go to the left centre-back, who also is a touch wider, this fullback is a lot more advanced. So it is different from the left and the right sides, but you do need variety when you're going to play out from the back. So that is just a very good image to show you sort of how they plan and how they are obsessed. Like, he loves playing out from the back, and what manager doesn't in this day and age? So what we're seeing here is obviously a scenario, but he did actually decide to go to the other side. And what we're going to talk about is these fullbacks on whatever side they do plan to go to. Traditionally, they are going to play a little bit higher up, but they can also come back and pick up the ball if needed. So what happened here was that the goalkeeper played to the left centre-back. The centre-back couldn't get a ball, obviously, across, or he was just very limited. So the fullback probably was somewhere around here, but decided to come back to pick up the ball and progress up the field. Now, this left wing-back with the ball can obviously play quite an easy pass into the DM, because he is going to come a little bit further into this area here, and there's going to be an option to advance forward right away. So even when they do find themselves in a scenario where they've played it to a centre-back and there isn't loads of options on the ball, if one of the fullbacks just drops a little bit deeper and then plays it into the midfield, it's very easy to still play out from the back when there is still quite a lot of pressure on you. This is pretty much like a pass map. Now, as a manager, he is not afraid to go long. Ipswich Town actually nearly reached 55 long pass attempts per game, which is up there with the league's highest. Now, that doesn't mean it's always going to be long ball, missed passes, because as you can see here, you do get to see where the ball does get traditionally played around. But in this system, there is also the opportunity to play the ball quite long, because very similar to the tactic we uploaded not so long ago, with the Almiron tactic, where the wingers sort of do come inside a little bit and you can play it over the top. It does happen with this as well, but traditionally, it is going to be fairly not long ball. I don't want to label it like that, like negative type of football, but to be honest, Ipswich Town have got some of the highest stats for playing long passes. So when your defenders have it, expect to see a lot of runs coming in from your wingers, whether that be narrow, whether that be going out wide. Also, the midfield players, obviously some of them might decide to get in, especially that attack and playmaker role. He definitely does make some very good runs. We can see that in the game footage, which I am going to show you. Now, this is a picture. I know it's quite blurry, but it is pretty much what the website had for this, and I did want to show you at least one attack and scenario. So this is going to be a long ball being played from the back over the top, and you can see how many people we're sending forward. Obviously, the aim of this ball is for it to hit this man here, who can obviously either run onto it, which might be a bit difficult, but if he does decide to do that, fair enough. But what we're seeing here is the commitment from this player here to get very close to him, because most likely there is going to be a knockdown. And when that knockdown is received, this player controls it correctly, he can then probably get a ball through into this gap here and play this player in. He's going to have options on the wide areas where the fullback is pushed up as well. So when there is a chance to go long, pretty much a majority of the team will commit and will help, because at the end of the day, if that knockdown is successful, you're then going to have loads of players in the opposition half to, you know, pretty much attack them, and they've only got they're going to have 4 players back versus what is going to be most likely at least 5 players attacking them. So you're always going to have the man advantage. Now, the last thing I want to talk about is the fact that Ipswich Town do actually have a lot more success going through the right side. Not the success necessarily, but they focus on playing down that right-hand side. As you can see here, the difference is quite crazy. You've got 36% of the chances sort of being created through central areas, so quite a bit centrally done as well. Then 44% coming from what is going to be the right-hand side of the pitch, and 20% from the left side of the pitch. So you are going to see a lot more focus on that right-hand side. But either way, there are going to be chances created all over the pitch, but most dominantly is going to be on the right-hand side of the field, and also through the middle parts of the pitch. That is going to be enough of the analytical side done. We are now going to talk actually about the results. Now, this tactic did take a while to make, so if you guys did enjoy this video, or are enjoying this video, it's not over yet, then please do smash the like button below and be sure to subscribe. Obviously, a manager like this, there isn't too many, you know, loads of YouTube videos explaining it, so you have to sort of watch the games and take it in for yourself. And I feel like I've replicated it quite well, and the results are still very, very good. Obviously, absolutely dominating Sky Bet League 1, 122 points in this division, 108 goal difference, only losing 4 games, winning 40 and drawing 2. You've got Jules coming in with 54 goals, which is absolutely amazing. Harness coming in with 22 assists as well. The Cups, the English Cups, apart from the Papa Johns, which we did actually win, were a bit of a disappointment, but we did face Chelsea and we faced Liverpool. So 2 teams which we weren't expected to beat by any means of the imagination. So I'm not going to judge that too much. Obviously, we can't expect, however good a tactic is, you're not going to be expected to win that with an Ipswich Town side without making any signings. But to win the league, get promotion, not even through playoffs, just purely out of dominating it, and winning the Papa John's trophy is still a very, very good season. In terms of the data hub then, team attacking, 3 goals or just over 3 goals a game, which is very, very high. Pass completion still relatively high, considering that there are going to be quite a few long balls being played here and there. So very happy with that. Obviously, 3 goals plus a game, I don't think you can really complain at all. And in terms of defending, very, very solid. Actually conceding under what we were expected to. 0.7 goals conceded per game. The tackle win ratio is sitting quite high, 78%. It could be higher, but there are going to be the occasional fouls being made in there, because at the end of the day, it's League One. There's always a little bit of scrappiness going on. Some of these players have got a little bit of aggression in them, so it is just how it's going to be. But conceding 0.7 goals a game and scoring over 3 is something that I would take any day of the week. And the second team that we decided to test with is going to be Manchester United. So we're going to hop over there and see how this tactic performs when you play with a so-called elite side. So we tested with Manchester United and it was absolutely sensational. I mean, we won 4 trophies. We won the Premier League, we won the PSG, we won the Champions League against PSG. It was an absolute thumping. 3 penalties in that game, by the way. An FA Cup, which we also won, and also the Carabao Cup. We've got Marcus Rashford putting on an absolute masterclass. In the Premier League, he was literally joint top goal scorer with, not joint top goal scorer, at the club, not top goal scorer. It was him and Sancho that were absolutely lighting up for us. Ronaldo did okay, but not the best from Ronaldo. 29 assists for Jadon Sancho as well. We played 38 games, won 30, drew 6, and lost 2. But do you know what? We still won the Premier League, so them losses aren't too much of an issue. Obviously won the FA Cup as well, and the Carabao Cup. So that, again, is going to be a quadruple winning season, which I know we are playing with a stronger team. But since I displayed this tactic with a weaker team, being Ipswich Town, I wanted to show you what this tactic is actually capable of when you play as a top-tier team with top-tier players, you know, ability-wise. No disrespect to Ipswich's players at all, but obviously there are a lot of people that like to play with a sort of lower league side, but also there are people that like to play with giant teams. So I thought, do you know what, we'll show you a little bit of both. And I thought Manchester United, for obvious reasons, would be a perfect fit. In terms of the data hub then, team attacking, we're looking at 3.63 goals a game, which for the Premier League is ridiculously high. Pass completion actually a little bit lower in this division for some reason. I'm not entirely sure why, but the main thing we're looking at here, obviously here, is the 3.63 goals a game. Scores a high number of goals per 90 minutes compared to the average, which is very, very good. Obviously, you look at the teams that are in the Premier League, you've got City, Tottenham, Liverpool, Chelsea, loads of top teams, Arsenal with great attack. So to be at the top is very, very good. In terms of team defending, under a goal a game in the Premier League is exactly what you want to be seeing. Very hard to achieve, so very happy with that. 0.84 conceded, bang on what we expected to concede as well, sorry. Tackle win ratio sitting at nearly 80% as well, so could be higher, but as I said, this tactic isn't designed to be the most cleanliest team. You are going to put in the odd challenge here and there, which will result in a foul. Obviously, 9.37 fouls made per game on the average. If you guys do want to tone this down, you can obviously tell your players to ease off a little bit, but for me, I like that side of the game and it does replicate it very well. So, the game I picked out is actually going to be the Carabao Cup final against Tottenham, which we won 6-0. And they were playing a full-strength side, so we are going to look at that after. But the main thing about this is there is a nice mixture of goals. Now, there were games where we scored more. There were games where, you know, they were bigger games. But I want to always show you guys a game where there are goals, because then you can see where they come from. And you guys seem to like that side of the videos as well. So the first goal is going to be here. Bruno Fernandes out wide. Now, watch his movement. I want you to watch his movement here. As you can see, he waits, picks up the ball, and eventually has a pop into the top left corner. Obviously, Bruno Fernandes is one of the best midfielders in the world. Whether you see that in real life or in the game, completely different views. But in the game, he is absolutely sensational. This is going to be a nice set piece, actually, on the edge here from Eriksen, obviously a Tottenham former player. Varane obviously going to win that header into the bottom right corner. And could the goalkeeper done a little bit better there? I think he could have done. They did actually have Williams getting a little bit of game time, which is something which I didn't expect to see. But obviously I do holiday simulate these, so it is up to the manager. But to play him in a cup final is definitely bold. But here we go then, a throw into Casemiro. You're going to see a little bit of the whip here coming in. A great ball across into Ronaldo. Beautiful pass and play into Eriksen, who hits it into the bottom left corner. One thing I will say, as I did mention with the shots on target, we're not afraid to have shots from anywhere on the pitch. So you are going to have the occasional long shot that might completely go off target, but you don't know unless you try. And that is always why I let the players have a pop at goal, especially when you are playing with, like, possibly if you're playing with a side like Manchester United, you could turn that off. When you're playing with a side like Ipswich in a league where chances come, you know, not always as common as what you want, you've just got to hit the ball. But possibly when you are playing with a team like Man United, where you are, you know, or maybe a City where you can dominate the league, you could play a little bit differently. But at the end of the day, this is about replicating, not making the perfect tactic to suit yourself. But here we go again. Eriksen with the ball into Ronaldo, out wide, a beautiful ball over the top into Rashford. We're seeing a little bit of that directness coming in there. Obviously, not always going to be short passes being played. This is going to be the 5th goal from Bruno Fernandes, running through the middle. Eriksen, who's played such a good role in this team, beautiful ball over the top. Obviously, Rashford did come a little bit narrower there to pick up the ball, who sorts it into the bottom right corner. And I think by this point, if you hadn't guessed, Tottenham had pretty much given up. But if this isn't enough for you, sure, to Rashford, out wide into Van der Beek, beautiful ball across into Fernandes, and the goalkeeper does have a mare. I'm going to be honest, I think that's the one player who they possibly weren't playing full strength. I mean, we weren't either. Obviously, we had De Bruyne, Williams in the midfield as well, in the right back position, Martinez playing left back actually. Tottenham playing pretty much full strength, but playing Forster in goal. That's who they had. Royale, Tanganga, Longley, Davies, Højbjerg, Basuma, Bentancur, Kulusevski, Son and Kane. They just had a really, really bad game, and it was a game which we absolutely dominated. But I feel like that was a great game to show you guys. And obviously, there's a nice mixture of goals. So you can see roughly and how the goals do sort of get given to you, or how you create your own goals. So, before we do break down this tactic though, guys, if you are enjoying this video so far, please do leave a like on the video and please do subscribe to the YouTube channel as well. It helps the channel grow, it's completely free. And if you guys never want to miss an upload of mine again, you can turn on a notification bell, which can be found right next to where you hit subscribe. You're going to get notified when I premiere a video, when I go live, when I upload a video, and also do a community post. Community posts are a great way to get involved in the channel, and I also decide what sort of videos you guys get to see as well. So I do listen to your guys' suggestions a lot. So this is going to be the formation and the tactic, the Mckenna 4-2-3-1, the first of its kind. Positive mentality, in possession, wide, pass into space, play out of defence, slightly shorter passing. This was too much, having it on slightly more direct, so just slightly shorter, higher tempo, be more expressive, and low crosses. In transition, counter press, counter, distribute to the fullbacks and the centre-backs, and take short goal kicks. Out of possession, a high line of engagement, a standard defensive line, prevent short goalkeeper distribution, and more often. Over to the player roles then, you want the sweeper keeper on the support duty, shorter passing, and that is simply it for him. Over to the right back, you're going to have a wing back on the automatic duty, who is balanced, get further forward, run wide with the ball, and shorter passing. Over to the left back then, it's going to be exactly the same. Balanced, get further forward, run wide with the ball, and shorter passing. Two centre backs, one ball playing, one central defender. The first one, the ball playing defender role. Balanced, stay wider, and shorter passing. The left-hand side is going to be, I'm going to say the same. It's not the same. Standard, balance, sorry, when it comes to the trigger press. Now, the reason why, that's what I wanted to explain to you guys. I nearly forgot. One of them's on stay wider because, as we talked about at the start of the video, one player does sort of, go wider for the goal kicks. Now, you can't predict which one that's going to be because this is a video game at the end of the day. And when I had them both on stay wider, there were a few issues at the back. So I'd recommend only having one on stay wider. The two in midfield, you want a deep line playmaker. This is actually where Ericsson was playing, and you saw how good he was in that role. Balanced on the press and standard with the pass and directness. Next to him, a centre mid on the support duty. He's not going to be too attacking, but he's going to be sort of roaming that midfield. Balanced on the press. Move into channels, roam from position, and standard. Going over to the right-hand side of the pitch, you want an inverted winger on the attack duty. Balanced, get further forward, cut inside, standard, and aim the crosses at the centre. And on the right-hand side, it's just going to be a default winger on the attack duty. Balanced, get further forward, stay wider, run wide with the ball on this one, standard, and aim at the centre. In the mid, it's going to be an attacking midfielder, not an attacking play or advanced playmaker. You want balanced, get further forward, standard, take more risks, and dribble more. This, again, is questionable, but for me, I really like to have the attacking midfielders just take a little bit of a risk, why not? And the last player is going to be an advanced forward. Usually we go over pressing, but in Ipswich's town, I wouldn't really say that. So an advanced forward role is going to be balanced, standard with the pass and directness, take more risks, shoot more often, and dribble more. So a really, really selfish striker is what they have, and that is not a bad thing at all. That is going to be it for today's video, guys. I hope you guys have enjoyed it. If you guys do want to test out this tactic, you can download it in the description and then simply click this here, go to load, and it will translate everything over for you. The player roles and also all of this stuff as well. It's completely free, but if you guys have enjoyed it, then please do leave a like on this video. Be sure to subscribe to the channel as well and turn on notifications, and I'll see you in the next video.